So Apple had a big event this week. It's their first event of 2022. They had a lot of announcements, iPhone SE, iPad Air, all that kind of stuff. But the big one, the one I'm most excited about, is a brand new Mac desktop computer that Apple is calling the Mac Studio. New name, new computer. It does look like a Mac Mini that kind of got just larger. There's lots of memes going around of people nicknaming it the Big Mac. I'll give you that one. That's pretty funny. But the Mac Studio is a super powerful Apple Silicon desktop computer that has not only the M1 Max chip, which we've seen before in the MacBook Pros, but also the M1 Ultra chip. It's a brand new chip that Apple announced. It's basically super powered. But what I'm most excited about is the not only power this computer brings, but the Mac Studio also has great I/O ports on the back, Thunderbolt, USB, and on the front that I think makes it an ideal podcast studio computer. And so I want to go into the details that I think make it a podcast dream machine. And speaking of podcasting, this video is brought to you by Buzzsprout, my favorite podcast host. I have my own podcasts hosted on Buzzsprout. They have great features like Magic Mastering, which will auto-level your shows if you're not confident in editing. They let you make visual sound bites right from their platform. You don't have to pay another third-party service for those. And you can even upload up to 2 hours of audio every month. You also get a beautiful website with your podcast that makes it easy to share your new episodes. You sign up for free at the link in the video description and at buzzsprout.com. So the Mac Studio, it starts at $1,999. So $2,000. It's not the cheapest Mac you can get. But what's awesome is the ports you get on the back. 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports. You get an HDMI port. You can actually connect 4 Pro Display XDRs and a 4K TV. That's 5 total screens to the Mac Studio. But when it comes to podcasting, the ports I'm excited about is, yes, the Thunderbolt 4. I know my audio interface, which is the sound devices MixPre 3, and my video switcher, the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro. Those are both going to connect to 2 of those Thunderbolt ports, but there's also 2 USB-A ports on the back. Now, there's probably not a lot of devices you use right now with USB-A, but for podcast creators, you might have some older audio devices. I actually still have a Scarlett 2i2 that's USB-A, and I can get cables to adapt to it, but the fact that there's just 2 USB-A ports on the back of the Mac Studio is going to make it easy for those with audio devices that don't have USB-C or are older. I also have a Stream Deck that was still USB-A connected, and so I can connect that to the back of the Mac Studio without any adapters. You also have the Ethernet jack, you have an HDMI, and a headphone jack right there on the Mac Studio as well. And it's high performance, so you can use headphones that would normally need an amp. You can just plug it directly into the Mac Studio. But not only does it have those ports on the back, on the front, there's 2 USB-C ports and an SD card slot. Interesting, if you get the M1 Ultra version of the Mac Studio, those 2 ports actually turn into Thunderbolt ports. So you could have a total of 6 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the Mac Studio if you go with the M1 Ultra chip. But that SD card slot on the front is such a big deal. If you do video podcasts like I do every week, to be able to just put that SD card slot right in the front of the Mac Studio, I think I'm actually going to be able to get rid of all of my Thunderbolt docks and adapters. The 4 Thunderbolt ports on the back, I can have my display, my A10 Mini, my audio device, and a external hard drive or external SSD, which I use for video editing, and then the SD card on the front, plus there's built-in Ethernet. I think I can just go without my Thunderbolt docks anymore, which is really going to clean up the desk, and I'll just have this. It is pretty big. Again, it's a big Mac. It's actually 7.7 inches square, so on each side, and then 3.7 inches high, so it is a little taller, but it'll fit under most monitors. And of course, performance-wise, I love that they let you get it with the M1 Max chip, because honestly, I'm not doing like multiple 4K video stream editing. I mainly do audio with a little bit of video stuff like this right here. 1 camera, 2 camera shots. The M1 Max is going to be more than capable. So I love that there's that lower price point with the M1 Max chip. You can still get up to 64 gigabytes of unified memory. You can still get big SSDs if you want. And then for the video creators, then you get the M1 Ultra, which that actually starts at $4,000. But I'm glad that there's that price difference. So if you don't need all that GPU power, maybe you don't do a lot of video like me, that M1 Max option in the Mac Studio is great because you still get a powerful desktop computer, plus you get all those great ports on the back. Now, I was actually hoping that Apple would also release a 27-inch iMac with these powerful Apple Silicon chips, but I think I'm good with this modular device, meaning the computer is separate from the display. I actually have an LG 4K ultrafine display. It's fine, hence the name ultrafine. It's not great. It doesn't have speakers built in. It doesn't have a webcam, but I don't have to worry about upgrading that right now. I can just get the Mac Studio and then maybe later get the brand new, just announced Studio Display that Apple announced. That display is I think a great deal. It's $1,600, so not cheap, but you actually have spatial audio, Dolby Atmos speakers. You have a 12 megapixel ultra wide front-facing camera on the display, so you can do center stage doing your FaceTime or Zoom calls. And I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful display because it's an Apple display. It's got one Thunderbolt port on the back, 3 USB-Cs, not a ton of connectivity, but should be great for most people. And again, it's way cheaper than the Pro Display XDR that starts at $5,000 without a stand and then $6,000 if you get it with the stand. So a much less expensive display option would be great to pair with the Mac Studio. Maybe I'll get that in the near future, but for right now, I can still rock my LG Ultrafine 4K with the new Mac Studio, take advantage of all those ports, get rid of all my docks, and it can just be my podcast studio machine, plenty capable of doing video podcasts and audio podcasts. So pretty excited. I'm actually going to be getting one on launch. I think they come out March 18th. They should be shipping, or you can get them in store if they're in stock. And so I'll let you know how it is. It is going to replace my desktop setup. I'm probably going to get rid of all these Thunderbolt docks. I'm really excited to try it out. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can see my thoughts on it later. Plus, I got a lot of other podcast tips, how to share and promote your podcast, or how to start a podcast if you're just getting out. I got iPhone shortcuts for that. I talk about the podcast industry in a couple videos, Spotify and Apple, all that kind of stuff. So subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss a video. And don't forget to like this video. Leave a comment below. What questions do you have about what Apple announced at their event this week, or anything else related to Apple, podcasting, website creation? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.